Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod Science classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 14th August 2021. In this lecture, we are going to discuss 6 topics which are very much relevant to UPSC. So first, let us see what are the topics we are going to discuss in this lecture. So first one here is we are going to discuss about petrol cost. So petrol cost in Tamil Nadu state mainly decreased, okay, because here center levy tax mainly decreased rupees 3 rupees per liter. So because of this the cost of petrol decreased in Tamil Nadu. So why we need to know about this petrol cost? Because as you all know, on this petrol and diesel, center will levy tax and as well as states will levy tax. So because of this the final cost of this petrol will be increased, okay, so it will becoming a burden to consumers. So actually in these recent days there is increasing of cost of petrol and diesel. It is more than 105 rupees per liter in many states. Okay, so whenever the cost of the petrol and diesel which is increasing, overall cost of goods will be increased. That will lead to inflation. So in this context we need to know about regarding this petrol cost, and this will be important from our economy point of view, which mainly comes under GS paper 3. And now let's talk about next thing, that is Taliban. So what happened, why it is in news? Because Taliban, they came near to Kabul. Okay, Kabul, it is capital city of Afghanistan. So here what happened, Taliban are very much near to occupy this Kabul, and there are some reports mainly says that within 7 days they are going to occupy this Kabul also. So within this time frame here, who are the foreigners which are present, like foreign countries embassies and people who are working in these embassies, they are mainly going to be withdrawn. Okay, so this is the thing. And next topic we are going to discuss, it is about Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. So this will be important for your governance, and as well as you can expect some prelims questions from this scheme. And next one is Plastic Waste Management Rules 2021. Okay, so regarding this, what are these draft rules, we are going to discuss in tomorrow's lecture, but we are going to see what is written in this topic, and this will be important from our environment and ecology. So this will comes under GS paper 3. Next one is genetically modified soy meal. Okay, so this article is important because it is genetically modified soya beans. So this genetically modified soya meal, it is very important because it is also one cause of concern for our environment. So why it is in news? Because recently government gave approval to import this genetically modified soya meal. So what is this soya meal? So you already know what this soya bean is, right? So from this soya beans, after extracting of oil, so whatever the pulp is there, that is called as soya meal. So it is one important source of protein for poultry. So because of this is in news. Now let us try to understand this topic in a very great detail. And also we are going to talk about economic growth. So what is this economic growth? Actually this article which is related to LPG reforms, that is 1991 economic reforms. So here LPG reforms we came up in year 1991. So this year 2021 marks 30 years, that is 3 decades, right? So this article mainly talked about what is the importance of the LPG reforms, what are the benefits. So everything which is mainly discussed, and you can expect questions regarding this LPG reforms in this year means for sure. So these are some important articles that we are going to discuss in today's lecture. So first let us see article. Title says petrol to cost rupees 3 less in Tamil Nadu. So this article mainly talking about price drop of this petrol. Okay, price drop of rupees 3, okay, per liter, that is seen in state of Tamil Nadu. So here if you see some highlights, it mainly says that state tax on petrol reduced by 3 rupees per liter, and this tax cut effective from midnight of August 13th, and tax mainly brought down from 15% plus rupees 30.02 per liter to 13% plus 11.52 per liter in Tamil Nadu state, and petrol diesel taxes that contribute around rupees 22,000 to 23,000 crore per year to states' own tax revenues. And because of this tax cut, now it will lead to revenue loss of rupees 1,160 crore for full year. So these are some important key highlights. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. If you see context, it mainly says that DMK government in Tamil Nadu came up with announcement. So announcement of a tax cut of rupees 3 per liter on petrol. So there is a tax cut of rupees 3 rupees per liter on petrol. And Finance Minister made announcement while presenting the revised budget for 2021-22 on the floor of the assembly. So whenever this Finance Minister of Tamil Nadu mainly going for announcement regarding revised budget of for 2021 to 2022, he said that so Tamil Nadu government is announced. Tamil Nadu government is said that they are going to cut taxes of rupees 3 rupees per liter on petrol. So due to this tax cut, which mainly also contracts revenue of Tamil Nadu, it is about rupees 1,160 crore per year. And if you see some details, it mainly says that union levies on petrol, they were increased from rupees 10.39 per liter in May 2014. So in May 2014, whatever the union government, that is central government, imposing taxes on this petrol, it was rupees 10.39 per liter, and now it is 32 rupees, okay, 32.9, approximately 33 rupees per liter. So it is the central levying tax on this petrol. And what is the significance of this move? So whenever taxes which is cut on this petrol, so it will be mainly helpful for working and as well as poor middle class. And one more thing here is, one more concern here is, here it is also contracting state exchequer, right? Already due to this COVID-19 pandemic, the finances of the states are contracted, and due to imposition of this GST in 2017, states, they surrendered some of the important taxes to center. So due to all these, already states are having contracted tax revenues. So whenever this is decreasing the tax on this petrol, also means that will further leads to contraction of the state exchequer. And next one is, in this context, they also said that they are also going for basic entitlement. Okay, basic entitlement income, which mainly targeted for poor people for a payment of rupees 1,000 rupees per month for women also. So this is a thing mainly discussed in this topic. And now let us try to see how much tax we pay on petrol and diesel. So this is the thing you need to know, okay, as an UPSC aspirant. So union and states, they levies both, okay, both on this petrol and tax, petrol and diesel. So on this petrol and diesel, both center and state, they levy taxes. So how much? It is roughly about 55% on petrol and 52% on diesel. So together the taxes of the center and the state on petrol and diesel is, so 55% on petrol and 52% on diesel. And the tax level on petrol and as well as diesel works around 36% of retail price. So how much amount of the retail price that is seen on market? So out of this 36%, we are going to pay to central tax. And state component will be around 20 to 28%, 20% for diesel and 28% for petrol. And of the total central levies on petrol and diesel, so it includes rupees 1.40 per liter and 1.80 per liter, 1.80 per liter per diesel and 1.40 per liter per petrol for basic excise duty. Okay, and next one is additional excise duty includes, okay, rupees 11 per liter for petrol and rupees 18 per liter per diesel. So this is about basic excise duties and additional excise duties. So that will forms under divisible pool of taxes. So under this divisible pool of taxes, here money will be shared to states, right? How much amount? That is 41% according to recent 15th Finance Commission recommendations. And next one is, on this petrol and diesel, there will be also road and infrastructure cess that will be imposed. It is about 18 rupees per liter. And next one is 2.50 per liter and rupees 40 per liter. That is agriculture infrastructure development cess will also be imposed. So whenever we are talking about this cess, so this will be collected and this will be not shared by center to state. That means, so this amount will be retained by center itself. And now let us try to focus on what are the factors which are determining the fuel prices in market. So first one is crude. So whenever crude oil price which is increasing in the international market, obviously we can see there will be increase in prices of petrol and diesel in the market. And next one is exchange rate. So Indian oil companies, they import crude oil. They are mainly quoted in US dollars. So whenever rupee which is weakening, or whenever there is price fall, so in that way also we can have some impact. And next one is demand supply situation. So whenever there is short supply or low output of fuel, that will lead to increase in price of fuels. And logistic, petrol and diesel, they are transported to longer distances to cities. So in this way here logistic will also add increased amount or increased cost of this petrol and diesel in market. And next one is pricing mechanism. Daily or quarterly revision of retail prices of petrol and diesel will also impact prices in the market. So these are some important points that you need to remember regarding this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. Title says more Afghan cities fall as Taliban near Kabul. So this article mainly talking about one cause of concern in Afghanistan. This article will be important from international relations, which mainly comes under GS paper 2. So now let us try to understand this topic in a very great detail. And also there is one editorial which may talk about this Afghan tragedy. So now let us try to see the map of Afghanistan. So here this orange color is called as Afghanistan. So if you see countries which are sharing boundary, it is Iran here, Turkmenistan here, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and India also sharing, but it comes under Pak occupied Kashmir area. And here we have Pakistan. Here we have Kabul. Okay. So nearby Kabul there are many biggest cities. They are already came under hands of this Taliban. So this is one cause of concern. So now let us try to see important details which are given in this topic. So if you see context mainly says that Taliban seized more major cities as they raced to take full control of Afghanistan, and they are very much close to Kabul. So as we know, Kabul, it is capital city of Afghanistan, and major government running things, they are mainly functioning in Kabul. So whenever this Taliban, they will control or they will occupy this Kabul means, so we can say government will come down in Afghanistan, right? So Taliban seized more major cities as they raced to take full control of Afghanistan and are very much closer to Kabul. So in this context, US, Britain, they deploying thousands of troops to evacuate their citizens from the capital city before once airlines comes into down, or once airlines shut down after capturing of this Kabul by Talibans. So evacuation orders came as the Taliban took control of Kandahar. It is a nation's second biggest city. Taliban also captured capital of Logar province. So it is just 50 kilometers from Kabul. And even Washington and London, they announced a plan to pull out their embassy staffs and as well as citizens from this capital city. An international community like US, Pakistan, and European Union, even China, they said that they won't recognize any government in Afghanistan which may be imposed through use of military force. So if you are talking about this article, so why it is mainly focused because so strategically important city on this Kabul Kandahar highway, which mainly comes under control of this Taliban means, so almost all the entire country will be comes in the control of Taliban here. So even latest US intelligence assessment predicts mainly says that Kabul could fall in the hands of Taliban within 90 days. So Afghan government has reportedly offered a power sharing proposal to Taliban. So even we said it in our yesterday's lecture, like so government of Afghanistan mainly want to share some power with the Taliban, and they are coming up with mediators, right? And next one is Afghanistan government has repeatedly offered a power sharing proposal to Taliban. So if you're talking about Taliban supreme leader, that is Hibatullah. So Hibatullah, he said that Taliban are on verge of establishing poor Islamic system. They want to establish the poor Islamic system in Afghanistan. So what are the reasons for altered balance of power in Afghanistan towards in favor of this Taliban? So due to withdrawal of US-led international forces, US forces and as well as NATO forces, that led to internally divided, and as well as there is lacking of support for this Afghanistan government, especially in rural areas. And next one is US-Taliban agreement in February 2020, so which made legitimized jihadists. And next one is American withdrawal gave them a sense of victory here. So because of this, there is rise of Taliban that is seen. So after US troops are leaving this Afghanistan, whatever the vacuum which is created, so that vacuum mainly occupied by this Taliban. So this is just of this topic. And now let us see next topic. Title says Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana gave rupees 2794 crore for COVID-19 treatment. So this article mainly talking about some highlights of this scheme in this COVID-19 pandemic. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 2 under schemes, policies and programs of government. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that under this Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, so Union Government Health Insurance Scheme, which mainly provided about 20.34 lakh COVID-19 tests and 7.08 lakh treatments, they were authorized from April 2020 to July 2021. So from April 20 to July 2021, so under this scheme, government mainly provided for about 20.34 lakh COVID-19 tests and also 7.08 lakh treatments. And total value of this test and the treatment mainly stood at 2,794 crores. So if you're talking about some more important details which are given in this article, it mainly says that several states had made testing and even treatment of COVID-19 free. So under this scheme, several states, they made testing and as well as treatment for this COVID-19 free. And the cover also allowed beneficiaries to avail free testing and treatment across in-panel hospitals of both public and private. So in both public and private hospitals, they already covered or allowed beneficiaries. And next one is the National Test Health Authority. So this National Health Authority, which is a nodal agency, and this agency is responsible for nationwide rollout and also implementation of this scheme. And if you are focusing on some important facts regarding this Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, so this scheme mainly offers a sum amount of insured of rupees 5 lakhs for family. So 5 lakh rupees for family for secondary care and also even for tertiary care. An entitlement based scheme which mainly targets beneficiaries as identified by the socio-economic caste census. And if you are talking about benefits of this scheme, so this is one of the important significant step towards achievement of universal health coverage and as well as to achieve our sustainable development goal 3, which mainly talks about good health and well-being. And this scheme, it is a portable scheme and beneficiary, they can avail treatment in any of the states that have implemented in this state. Okay, and next one here is, so this scheme, which is a mainly portable scheme, that means in any state this can be used. And next one is, it will leverage capacities which mainly available in both public and as well as private sector hospitals. And it will also provide standardized high quality care with a strong protection of mechanisms. So in this scheme, we are also focusing mainly on high quality healthcare and as well as we are going for strong fraud protection mechanisms. So if there is any fraud also, we are going to have some protection. And next one is, this scheme will also ensure improved access and as well as affordability and as well as quality secondary and tertiary care services. So we are going for combination of both public hospitals and even private hospitals. And next one is, this scheme will also help to reduce out-of-pocket expenditure for hospitalization. So what is the meaning of this out-of-pocket expenditure? Means if I am going to any hospital, for example in case of government hospital, so what of the treatment they are providing, it is free of cost. But sometimes they say that because of lack of infrastructure in hospital, I need to go outside to take some so-and-so diagnostic test, or I need to go outside to take some essential medicines. So for that I need to give money from my pocket, right? So this is called as out-of-pocket expenditure. Even recent economic survey also said that out-of-pocket expenditure in India, it is very, very high than compared to that of other countries. And this scheme will strengthen public health care systems through infusion of insurance revenues. And next one is, this scheme will also enable creation of new health infrastructure, for example in rural areas, remote areas and as well as underserved areas. So these are some of the benefits of this scheme. And now let us try to focus on next article. Title says more plastic items to be banned. So this article mainly talking about Plastic Waste Management Amendment Rules 2021. So what are the rules under this plastic waste management rules? We are going to discuss in our tomorrow's lecture. So here we are going to see what is written in this article only for this lecture. So this article will be very important from your GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that by next year July, by July next year, manufacturing of a wide range of plastic products will be banned. For example, earbuds with plastic sticks, invitation cards with plastic, and plastic flags, ice cream sticks, and thermocol for decoration, plates, cup, cutlery. So in cutlery we can use some spoons, right? So that will be banned, and even cigarette packets which are made up of this plastic. So we are going to ban all these products, a wide range of these plastic products which are having this less than 100 microns. And if you're talking about this article, it mainly says that our environment minister notified plastic waste management amendment rules. So our environment minister notified plastic waste management amendment rules 2021. So these rules mainly prohibit specific single use plastic items. And also it will be very much helpful for decreasing of plastic usage. And next one is, these rules also involve amending of plastic waste management rules of 2016. So this plastic waste management rules of 2016 mainly prohibits manufacturing and import, stocking, distribution and sale and use of carry bags, and as well as plastic sheets which are having size which is less than 50 microns of thickness in the country. And even at 4th United Nations Environment Assembly in 2019. So in this 4th United Nations Environment Assembly in 2019, so India mainly piloted a resolution to address pollution which mainly caused by single-use plastic. So our Prime Minister said that we are going to end use of this single-use plastics. So if you're talking about this Environment Ministry, it mainly said that waste management infrastructure in states and union territories, they are going to be strengthened through Swachh Bharat mission. And next one is, our ministry, Environment Ministry, also requested for setting up a special task force for elimination of single-use plastics, and also we need to focus on effective implementation of plastic waste management rules 2016. And at a national level, so national level task force to be constituted by ministry, that will be helpful for mainly coordinated efforts to eliminate and to identify single-use plastics items and effective implementation of waste management rules 2016. So in this way, this national level task force, it is also very important for mainly for coordinated efforts, mainly to eliminate, and as well as we need to identify single-use plastic items, and we need to effectively implement waste management rules of 2016. And now let us try to see next topic. Title says government allows genetically modified soy meal import to support poultry industries. So in this poultry industries, mainly to make chicks to adults within 40 days, we need to provide them proteinous foods. So here soya meal, it is one of important protein diet that can be given in this poultry birds, right? So this article will be important regarding environment and ecology, which mainly comes under GS paper 3. And now let us try to talk about this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that Union government decided to allow import of crushed genetically modified soybean. So why it is in news? Because here our union government, that is central government, decided to allow import of this crushed GM, that is genetically modified soya bean, because it is one of the major ingredient of poultry feed. So because of this decision which taken by central government, many environmental activists, they raised some concerns about permission which is given by government. So this genetically modified plant which entered into human food chain. So in India, even BT cotton and as well as GM mustard. So GM mustard which is not got any permission, okay. So because it is having some effects, so we need to clearly go for studying of what will be the effects on human health, then only we will get permission. So whenever we are allowing this genetically modified soya meal here, that will be entered into food chain. That means whenever we are using this soya meal as a protein diet for poultry, and after this poultry which becomes adult, okay, that chicks becomes adult, then that will be entered into our food chain. We will go to chicken markets and we will bring chicken and we will eat, right? So in this way here, what happens is genetically modified plants, it is entering into our food chain. So even for genetically modified crops, India's regulatory system has not yet give any approval, right? So if you see some details, it mainly says that poultry industry have been crushed because of some multiple disasters. So in January 2020, there was a false rumor that mainly spread that COVID-19 may be spread, that could be spread by eating chicken, okay? So because of this, that led to crash of the demand for boilers and as well as layers in the market. So even avian influenza, that is bird flu mainly attack, that led to crash of this poultry industries. So because of this, and also we can see one more important thing like crippling rise in the price of poultry feed. So poultry feed cost also had been increased. So because of all these reasons, we are seeing there is crash of this poultry industry that is seen. Okay, so because of this, government took decision to import this soya meal. So now let us try to understand some facts regarding this soya meal. So this soya meal, it is nothing but whatever the leftover beans, okay? So after from this soya bean, we are extracting water. So whatever the pulp that is remain, that is called as this soya meal. So this soya meal, it is a one of important protein ingredient for feed which can be used for poultry. And in this poultry feed, about 65% of cost of production, which is mainly the one of important burden on farmers. So poultry farmers, one of the important costs they are bearing is 65% of cost of production, that will be regarding this poultry field. And here in this poultry field, they need to use some proteinous diet such that will leads to development of these chicks into adults, right? So from last 3 to 4 years, soya meal cost is rupees 34 to 36 per kg. But recently we are seeing there is increase in cost of this soya meal, that is rupees 96 per kg domestically. So why? Because there is lack of availability, right? There is shortage. And poultry industry have been lobbying for an import of this soya meal to tide over these domestic shortages. So even Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying notified that soya meal and oil cake, okay, which is mainly of genetically modified. So after once oil is removed from that soya beans, then whatever the soya meal is there or oil cake is there, that can be used for food, okay, because it does not contain any living organism. So this is a thing which mainly said by Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying. So this is just of this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. So this topic talking about growth needs a step beyond reforms. Okay, so before saying this topic, I want to make a small announcement on this platform. So if you want to clear UPSC 2022, we came up with one excellent, highly beneficial and as well as highly economical course, that is current affairs package along with mains answer writing practice. So how this course will be useful to clear this UPSC 2022? So one thing you need to remember here is, before entering into examination hall, you need to know at least 1.5 year current affairs for sure. And this is right time to join this course to cover this 1.5 years current affairs. And next one here is mains answer writing practice. Many students, they ignore this mains answer writing practice. So if you think that if you want to start answer writing practice once you cleared mains means, so you will be having just 3 months of time in your hands. So in this 3 months of time, you need to complete your optionals. There is a lot of burden on you. So you can't focus effectively on this mains answer writing practice. So whenever you are starting your preparation onwards, you need to focus on this mains answer writing practice also, right? So here in this course, we are mainly focusing on how to improve your answer writing skills. And next thing is, if you join this course, we also conduct prelims test on every Sunday and we provide you video explanation part. So in this way, this course, it is designed as per demand of UPSC. So finally, I want to say one thing. Please don't take this course as a choice. Try to join this course as soon as possible and achieve your dream of clearing UPSC. So details of this course, which is given in description box. So please visit that once. And if you want to talk to me directly, you can call to this number 8074765513. Okay, and now let's come back and let us see this article. So this article mainly talking about LPG reforms. It is 3 decades we implemented this LPG reforms in India. So this article will be important from economy point of view, which mainly comes under our GS paper 3. So if you see context, it mainly says that since 1991 reforms, we came up due to this balance of payment crisis. So it is now 3 decades by this 2021. So to restore this balance of payment crisis and to come up with some modernization of our economy, we came up with this LPG reforms. So here author mainly says that BOP crisis, which was converted into an opportunity, and we bring about some fundamental changes in our economic policy. So LPG mainly stands for liberalization, privatization and globalization. So if you're talking about the shift and the key players, so the new regime after this 1991 reforms, it was very much different from when we are comparing to pre-1991 reforms in our economy. So those 3 important things here is we went for dismantling of vast number of network of licenses, controls and permits which are mainly dominated in our economic system. So that means we went for liberalization. Okay, and next one is we went for designing of role of the state, and also we allotted private sector, okay, large space to operate. That means we went for privatization. And next one is we went for abandoning of inward looking foreign trade policy, but we are mainly going towards world economic trade. Okay, we are going to integrate with this world economic trade, that is called as globalization. So here we went for this liberalization, privatization and globalization in 1991, right? So these are called as LPG reforms. So what are the merits of this LPG reforms we achieved? So due to this LPG reforms, whenever there is increase in private sector, that led to increase in competition and as well as increase in quality of services. So because of this, there is increase in productivity and efficiency of this system we can achieve. And next one is we also created more competitive environment. And next one is whatever the barriers are present regarding entry and as well as growth, they were removed through this liberalization. And finally, that led to increase in growth rate, and as well as that led to decrease in current account deficit and also poverty reduction in India. So even foreign reserves that have become surplus after these reforms, and BOP situation that had remained comfortable in India, and we are facing current account surplus now. So recently one data released regarding this forex reserves which have been reached $621 billion, and also trade had been increased. But one important concern regarding this trade here is merchandise trade deficit that we are experiencing. And if you are talking about poverty ratio, so one important problem we are facing regarding this poverty is, so there is no proper definition regarding this poverty. So and so committee says like this. For example, World Bank says so and so, which comes under poverty, and Planning Commission says something, and some other report says something. So there is no universal definition of poverty. So this is a one important thing we are facing, important problem we are facing. And if you're talking about positives regarding this poverty after this economic reforms, so post-reform period up to 2011 to 12, so we did see a significant reduction in poverty ratio. Okay, mainly due to faster growth, which mainly supplemented by appropriate poverty reduction programs. So government came with this MGNREGA scheme in 2005. Okay, that is Act. And next one is extended food security schemes. So because of all these steps that were taken by government, that led to faster growth, and also that led to significant reduction in poverty. And again now due to COVID-19 pandemic, so poverty has been increased according to Pew Research. Okay, Pew Research report. And what is the need here? So if you're talking about need, so we need to continue this reform agenda. Mainly this will be helps to move in a same directions in which we have been moving from past 3 decades. So policymakers, they need to identify some sectors which need reforms in terms of creating a competitive environment, and we need to improve also performance efficiency in this so and so sectors, and we need to relook regarding financial system of country and power sector and as well as governance, and we need to increase our focus on social sectors like health and education. And next one is finally author concludes that reforms are very much necessary to improve productivity of economy and as well as higher growth. So whatever the advantages I said, so because of this finally author concludes that reforms are necessary to improve productivity of economy and as well as higher growth. So this is a gist of this topic. So these are some important news items that appeared in today's Hindu newspaper. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. So please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. And please subscribe to this current affairs package. Thank you so much.